Arsenal's injury list is obviously coming to what we call increment, but or to big increase. But there is some positive news coming in from the sick bay of Arsenal that some players are obviously closing in on the return of Arsenal, and that is Thomas Partey, Leandro Trossard, and Martinelli. Welcome to Rokani Media Football. Hope you're really having a very wonderful morning, and we thank God for the gift of life. And you guys are really ready to obviously take in these stories that we're gonna have to compile today and take you to where you guys deserve to be here onto this channel. Let's see close to how many likes. Let's see close to 400 likes much of this video, and don't forget to subscribe if you're already watching us for the very first time, because you'll miss out onto the daily gist that obviously surfaces onto this channel. Then Ange Postecoglou has gone ahead and obviously came in through and obviously put out a story concerning how Jesus and Saka gave his fullbacks had time at the Emirates in the game that ended 2-2 in favor of both teams. That is it. So Rokani David is my name. This is the Arsenal News Show, and I think let's kickstart it off. But before we do that, let's thank God for the gift of life, and the Muslims thank Allah for the gift of life. It's 26th of September, and here we are to really take it to the next level and obviously gear up the best out of ourselves. Now, let's start it off with Sammy Mikpo, Tier 1 journalist, having given us a story about Declan Rice. He had the audacity to obviously tell us the following about Leandro Trossard, Martinelli are expected to return from respective hamstring injuries in time to face Manchester City. Partey is making good progress from a groin injury amid hope he's closing in on return sooner than expected. He was due to return after the October international break. Now, let's first talk about Trossard and Martinelli. Martinelli, you know, when he got off the field of play, that was when Arsenal was playing Everton. That is it. He played like 15 minutes, scored a goal, ruled out, and then he was really put off the field of play. That is Gabriel Martinelli. Then for Leandro Trossard, he never really made it to the game as Arsenal took on Tottenham Hotspur at the Emirates, right? And he got a hamstring injury during the training session. Now, those two players are expected to return, right, in time as Arsenal faces the side called Man City. That is on the 8th of October, before the international break really comes to pass. But that will be a very huge boost for Arsenal, because when you see to it that you've gone ahead and lose your first choice players who play in the left attacking midfield position, that is not good news. It's not music to ears of Mikel Arteta and the entire coaching staff of Arsenal, because these players have really what we call a huge mentality that drives these players to where they deserve to be. And we look at Leandro Trossard. He had picked up a huge form, scoring against Everton, scoring against PSV, and putting up an assist, meaning that in 2 games he had gotten what we call 3 goal involvements. So that is obviously great, but it's great news that he's coming back to face City as Arsenal also prepares to welcome back Thomas Partey. Thomas Partey has been out forever, but the boost is, when you're having Declan Rice as a doubt for the game of City, Thomas Partey looks like he's knocking on the door to return. What is the importance of Thomas Partey? Thomas Partey has always gone ahead to obviously be one of the best CDMs in the Premier League, and he can obviously come in through and get the job done when you're playing against Man City. But the worrying bit of it all is that Arteta is seeing Thomas Partey as a right back. He wants him to play as an inverted right back, something that I don't obviously fancy, especially in the games of football where you've gone ahead to find yourself in a position with teams playing with a double pivot. That is it. Look at Tottenham Hotspur. They played with the double pivot of Partey, Trossard, and Yevis Bissouma, and Arsenal was playing with a single pivot. I think to counter Tottenham Hotspur better, a double pivot would have gone ahead to work better. And even at the beginning of the season, Thomas Partey was not being played in the double pivot with Declan Rice, meaning that Arteta is looking at Declan Rice to play his single pivot and obviously see the likes of Odegaard, Fabio Vieira, or Kai Havertz thrive alongside him. Now, in a team like that where you're having 3 central midfielders who are really top class, Jorginho, Thomas Partey, and Declan Rice, That means you won't be giving them enough playing time because you want playing a double pivot. Because the double pivot will facilitate Declan Rice and Partey, will facilitate Declan Rice and Jorginho and Thomas Partey. But the manager is not going in for that. But it's good news that with the doubtfulness of Declan Rice not being available as Arsenal plays the side of Man City, then there is another player that can obviously get the job done. Thomas Partey set to return and play huge for Arsenal. But the injuries are really catching up on Arsenal hugely, and they're obviously taking it into that level of obviously asking what is really happening at the club of Arsenal. Because before you go to the international break, Arsenal is having the following fixtures to play, and that's why these players are needed as up. Now, Brentford is hosting Arsenal. That is tomorrow in the Carabao Cup. We don't know which players Arteta is going to field. Then Bournemouth versus Arsenal, meaning that Arsenal is going to play 3 away games consecutively. Even Rennes versus Arsenal. So in the EFL Cup, tomorrow they are playing away against Brentford. In the Premier League, they are playing away at Bournemouth. That is on Saturday. Then on Tuesday, they are playing Rennes away. That is they are playing Rennes away. That is on Tuesday. That is next week. Then they come up to play at home against Man City. Now, they would have gone ahead to spend 3 games without playing at Emirates, and they're going to host City at the Emirates. Now, these fixtures look like easy on the eye, apart from the fixture of City, but Arsenal is really having a depleted squad. Without Julian Timber, Martinelli, Trossard, and Declan Rice, that shows you that they are now having 4 important players off the field of play. Now, this calls in for players to come in and raise up to the occasion, but how will they when Arteta isn't getting his tactics right? In the game of Tottenham Hotspur, we also to it that it's Mikel Arteta that costed himself a game, right? Why don't you play Jesus? Why don't you let Jesus to lead the line? Why don't you why don't you let the likes of Fabio Vieira play at least 70 minutes and then you bring on Kai Havertz because you decided to bench him? If you wanted Kai Havertz to play the game, start him and bring in Fabio Vieira. Lots of mistakes here made by Mikel Arteta into that mix. But the beauty of this is they'll be ready for the game of Manchester City. That is the most important bit of it all, because you wouldn't like to face Man City without having your top guns. Declan Rice, Thomas Partey, Trossard and Martinelli. If all those can be available, then it's obviously going to be good news for the side of Arsenal as they really take on the side of City. Now, let's go to the manager of Tottenham Hotspur, that is Ange Postecoglou, has gone ahead and obviously labeled Bukayo Saka and Gabriel Jesus as 2 outstanding players after yesterday's derby, or after Sunday's derby. He said, "I thought both of our fullbacks had difficult jobs," the Spurs boss said. "Arsenal's wide players were outstanding. We are outstanding players, and that's where their threats are." Now, when he talks about these players being outstanding, it takes you back to why every Arsenal fan has a reason to worry when Leandro Trossard and Gabriel Martinelli are out, because one of those in that game of Spurs against Arsenal, he gives Arsenal a win. Trossard would have gone ahead to do the needful and obviously break down that cycle of Spurs and maybe lay that line-breaking pass, or maybe make a third-man run, or maybe go to where he deserves to be and obviously get the best of the club of Arsenal, as they obviously geared up for that beautiful fixture in there for you. So we saw Gabriel Jesus taking on Pedro Porro, and Bukayo Saka taking on Udogie. But when Declan Rice really got off the field of play, Arsenal transitional play, especially connecting the midfield to the attack, really reduced. It declined because the mastermind of the midfield had really gotten off. And the player that was brought on, that is Jorginho, was not all that much fit because the manager had not been giving him games. And how do you expect him to thrive in such atmosphere? So Arteta needs to obviously rectify into his tactics and obviously rotating his players. He was with Pep Guardiola, but Pep Guardiola is a manager who knows when to obviously bring on these players, and he knows how to cater minutes or get minutes for them. Like last season, you saw that Riyad Mahrez never played very many Premier League games, but he played in the Champions League, FA Cup and Carabao Cup most times. So we wait and see how that pans out. Now I call in for your reactions to Thomas Partey's Arsenal return clause. Tell me what you think about Thomas Partey's return. Trossard, Martinelli will be available for the game of City. That is coming in from Sabi Mikball. And Jesus, Bukayo Saka have been termed as the players that obviously cause damage to the fullbacks of Spurs. What do you make about it? Rokani David remains my name. I sign out for now. See you later. I cover you all in the precious blood of Jesus Christ. May the living to God bless you abundantly. And this is what we do here. And this is our channel, Rokani Media Football. Don't forget to subscribe, as we are set to obviously return and present to you the best that you guys deserve. Ciao, ciao.